What is up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood web war fanatic, and I want to talk about the beta environment and what that means. So basically, yesterday I posted this video here, a short news recap of the live stream that Fantasy Flight Games had, and they talked a little bit about out of print delays and X-Men returning, and they also mentioned something about the beta environment. And I haven't really heard anyone else talking about the beta environment here because we don't know what that means. So I will give a huge shout outs here to Robert Bontrager, who commented this here. So he asked in the comments of the live stream what the beta test means. And here was their answers, like Fantasy Flight Games. They said that beta test means that fans will be able to try out the new environments before a finalized version is released later on. Okay, so if you guys know anything about beta like tests, from my understanding of that, usually that's like in like video games, and like there'll be like a beta test. Maybe you get like a key or something like that, and you can use that to like play test like a game before it's like officially released. And then like whenever the actual game like begins, all the stuff from the beta test is like usually like I think wiped out, I think. So like if you like, you start playing like your character, you get to like level 50 or whatever, you start back on like level 1, I think, whenever the beta test is gone and like the official game is released. That's just my understanding. I've never actually been a part of like a beta test or anything like that. That's just kind of what I know about a beta test. Now, for a physical card game like Marvel Champions, I mean, I have no clue what this could mean. So, Fantasy Flight Game says that beta test means that fans will be able to try out the new environments before a finalized version is released later on. So, that means that we can kind of like have a say on like what happens, right? Like it seems like that they're going to take some feedback, from the fans, from the players. That's really cool. But then like who gets to be a part of the beta test? I mean, I would definitely love to be a part of the beta test, but I don't know, like, do you have to do something to be a part of that? Is it like just like the first, like, however many people like order whatever product? And then like we have the physical products like in our hands, right? So like if that is considered a part of like the beta test, whenever the official like version comes out, like whatever they're gonna do with the environments, is like the stuff that I have, like those cards, is that no longer like legal? Is it like just kind of like, considered like not official cards anymore? I mean, I feel like if that happens, that would be really cool to like have those like, OG like, beta test cards. I'll probably still play them on the channel if I had that. But yeah, I mean, I have no clue what this means for a physical card game. I thought this was weird and like kind of confusing, and thought I was like the odd man out. Maybe everyone knew what this meant because like not a lot of people are talking about it. So I had a community poll here, and I asked you guys, how would you feel if Fantasy Flight Games implements a beta test for a card game like Marvel Champions? And then this was just posted 3 hours ago, so not a lot of votes yet, just 200 votes here. And then 36% voted positive, 50% voted neutral, and then 14% voted negative. So it's good to see that most people are actually very positive. So huge shots to my community. You guys are very positive people. I love that. But the comments here, I want to give a shout to the top comment here, the great Kyrillos. I don't even know what that means. They already have game testers. Yeah, like I am on the same page. I don't know what this meant either. I just kind of had this poll here, like based on, this like statement here, I think from Fantasy Flight Games, from what Robert is saying. And it seems like, they might have a beta test for a card game like Marvel Champions. So like I just kind of want to see like what everyone thought about it, but it seems like that most people like me don't really know what that means. And if you guys don't know about like the beta environment, so in a fireside chat, Fantasy Flight Games talked about having the current environment and then the legacy environments, and how all of stuff's out of print is going to go into the legacy environment, and then the last 2 to 3 years of like news releases will be what's the current environment, and the new cards will be designed with the current environment in mind. So in that live stream, they defined for us that the legacy environment is like the entirety of the game, and they define for us that the current environment is going to be the last 2 to 3 years of releases plus the core set, which will be evergreen. That's going to be the current environment. And then during the PAX Unplugged announcement, they like mentioned this word, the beta environment for Marvel Champions. And honestly, I thought that maybe like they misspoke, that like they meant to say like the current slash legacy environments, or that like the beta environment is just like encapsulated, both those environments, like the current and legacy, and like what they'll be doing, with that. But then in the recent live stream, Olivia mentioned the beta environment again, and then I wasn't able to see this part here, But in that live chat, Fantasy Flight Games, they also like mentioned the beta test here, and the beta environment. So it seems like it's actually gonna be a thing, and it may kind of be separate from like what we know of definitions for like the current environment and the legacy environment. Like beta environment may just be like an actual like beta test for the environments, and see how the fans like it. So yeah, I have no clue here. And then I want to highlight some of the comments here. So I want to give a huge shout out to Curtis. He said, I guess it's good if they're looking to implement community feedback and avoid any game breaking mechanics. So like I think that this is like probably the best thing about it. But like once again, I don't know how that'll work with like a physical card game. But like I think for me personally, it's just like entirely speculation, right, guys? So like for me personally, the best situation is like they implement, this current environment and it's like a beta test. And then we as a fans, myself included, I would be like, okay, like, it's fine, but I would prefer that we just don't do the current environment and we just have the legacy environment, and just reprint everything. And they're like, okay, you know what? That's the community feedback, the community vote or something like that. We prefer the legacy environment. So you know what? We're gonna reprint all the stuff that is out of print. We're gonna reprint Sinister Motives. We're gonna reprint Captain America. Probably super wishful thinking, I know, guys, but like, I mean, I feel like, if community feedback, is important here, I feel like almost everyone wants just like everything to be like, back in stock. If not like a reprint, like a print on demand, like with the vault, like we will want that to be a part of like Marvel Champions outprint products, right? So like, yeah, I feel like, I mean, that would be like the best situation, but not sure if that has a chance of happening. But even if it has a chance of happening, I mean, that would be very cool. Here's a comment here from Jason. He says, I honestly don't care how they divide the legacy and current environments. I will almost certainly just ignore it and continue to play whatever combination that I want. I think I'm probably going to do the same, just playing in the legacy environment. I feel like, legacy environment is the way to go. I want to like have complete freedom whenever I'm deck building. What I really want to know is how they're going to handle out of print heroes and villains going forward, which is bound up with all the environment nonsense. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to happen either. I know that, I think that revisits are, in the works, like a new version of Captain America. But I mean, even if it's like a really like fun and awesome like design, I still would prefer to have that old Captain America like in cycle, like at least people can like print on demand or something like that. That'd be very cool. And then shout outs to Nick here. He says, what do they mean by beta testing? Seems like it should be something complete internally before rolling these environments out. Yeah, so like normally, like the comment, earlier here from the great Kirlo said, like they have game testers that are testing, each hero and the designs before they come out. So like, what does this mean? Like beta testing for the fans? And let's go back to the pinned comment here from Robert. It means that fans will be able to try out the new environments before a finalized version is released later on. So like, that's cool. I mean, I've never been a beta tester. I would love to be a beta tester. And now like all of us can be beta testers, hopefully, maybe. Yeah, that would be really cool. The worst thing with this is if the beta testers like it's like all like print to play stuff like this Ronin module. So in case you guys do not know what I'm talking about, I jumped over here to Hall of Heroes and I'm like there's this Ronin the Accuser print and play module set, and this is an official thing released by Fantasy Flight Games. Lead designer Michael Boggs here. I didn't even know that. But yeah, they have these cards right here with this, Kree Fanatic mod set. It's official, but there's not like a printed version. They like have these like I guess PDFs for us, and we can print this out ourselves. But I don't even own a printer, so like I don't know how I could get this. And if the beta test means that like you have like this stuff for us to print out, that would stink because I don't know how I would be able to play that. So I'm hoping that it's not gonna be like a printed stuff like this. Yeah, really hoping that that's not the case. But yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that like it's just stuff that's gonna be released that we can just purchase and like get the physical cards and then like play it. That'd be really cool. And I will hop back over here. Here's a comment here from Stretch22. Huge shout outs to Stretch. He says, I think your post is missing a word or two. It would be very strange to launch a beta version of a physical card game. No, man, I totally agree. I mean, I'm not missing word. I just don't know what that means. And it seems like I thought everyone else knew what that meant. But I think that a lot of people are also on the same page as me. But like you guys still voted a lot here. Pretty neutrally slash positively. here. I think I definitely should have had a fourth option saying, I don't know what the beta test means. But yeah, so let's see the replies here. And the stress says, actually, I think Hub World Eidolon, Boggs' new game, kind of did this, where they released a small print of a star deck to show people what the game was about before Kickstarter was fun. Oh, that's interesting there. But the difference with Marvel Champs is that it's already started, right? So like we're kind of like in the middle of the game right now. It's not like the game has not been officially released already. It's been out for like I think like over 5-6 years. So I'm not sure how that would happen. And here's a comment here from Yazank87. Huge shouts to Yazank. Let me move my face here because I can't read this. I assume he's talking about the upcoming so-called beta environment rules. I'm not sure if we know what that means yet, but if we're assuming it means that it will be the first attempt and it may be revised subject due to feedback, I don't know if it's very different from any of the rules. That's kind of the deal with a living card game. The rules get updated as it grows. Okay, this makes a lot of sense here. So yeah, shouts to Yazank87. So maybe it's gonna kind of be like this, and it's gonna be like a living card game growing and changing, depending on how us fans and players like the beta environment. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts here. I feel like not a lot of people know about this comment right here that was in that live stream. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. I do want to like hear y'all's thoughts and like what this could mean, and if like other games have done this before in the past, because you guys probably heard me say this multiple times, but Marvel Champs is kind of like the only like game that I play, and it's like the game that got me into the board game space. So yeah, I'm very interested to hear y'all's thoughts. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.